Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I would like to discuss about double entry system. Double entry system. Double entry system is a system of accounting in which every transaction affects at least two accounts. So it means that every transaction will involve two accounts. Accounting uses the double entry system, which means that we record the dual effect of each transaction. It would be incomplete to record only the giving side or only the receiving side of a transaction. Double entry system. So the debit side we call debit in the left side of the account, and in the right side of the account we call credit. Okay, this is the title of the account, and this is the left side of the account, and this is the right side of the account. Okay, look at this one. For the debit side of the account, you must divide it into three columns: date, details, and the amount. For the credit side, also we must write down date, details, and amount. And this is the name of the account that involved. Okay, for the account that increase, for example, asset, expenses, and drawing, when there is an increase in asset, expenses, drawing, we must record in the debit side. And where is a decrease in assets, expenses, and drawing, we must record in the credit side. For liabilities, revenue, and capital, there is an increase in the liabilities, revenue, and capital, we must record in the credit side. And where there is decrease in liabilities, revenue, and capital, we must record in the debit side. This is the rules of debit and credit, or sometimes we call this is the rules of double entry system. For example, this is the account categorized as asset, expenses, and drawing. When there is an increase in the assets, expenses, drawing, we must record in the debit side, so in the left side. But when there is a decrease in these categories, we must record in the credit side. For liabilities, equity, and revenue, when there is an increase in the transaction, for liability, equity, and revenue, we must record in the credit side of the account. And also, when there is decrease in liability, equity, or revenue, we must record in the debit side of the account. So this one represents for the account, and this one represents for the category of assets, expenses, drawing, and this is the record that you have to follow the rules. For example 1, the 1st of January, owners start the business with cash Rm 10,000. It means that it will increase in asset for the amount for cash and increase in capital. So when you want to record in the account, there are two accounts involved. The first one, cash account, and the second one, capital account. Cash account increase in asset, that is cash account, so we must record in the debit side. We must follow the rules of double entry system. And for capital account, that is categorized as equity. So when there is an increase in equity, we must record in the credit side. So the amount for the debit side of cash account and the amount for the credit side of capital account is the same. So this one we call double entry system. We must follow the rules of debit and credit provided just now. Example 2. 5th of January, owner withdrew Rm200 cash from the business for his personal use. So, based on accounting equation, there is an increase in drawing and there is decrease in cash. So, in other words, there is a decrease in equity. But when you want to record the account involves are drawing and cash. So we look at this account drawing represent for owner's equity, but it will reduce owner's equity. But for drawing account, it will increase. So when you want to record increase in drawings account, you must record in the debit side 200, and at the same time for this transaction, it will reduce the amount of cash. So when there is a decrease in cash, we must follow the rule of debit and credit. So there is decrease in asset, we must record it in the credit side. So debit drawing account, credit cash account, and the details relate to the next account, relate to the double entry account. So this one we just write down cash, and for cash account we just write down the details drawing. Okay, the next transaction, 10th of January, the business received cash Rm3,000 for bank loan from a bank for business use. So based on the equity accounting equation, it will increase, not the equity, increase in cash or increase in asset, and at the same time it will increase in liability, increase in bank loan. So we must involve two accounts. First account relate to cash account and another one relate to bank loan. So debit cash account because it will increase in cash, and credit bank loan because it will increase liability of bank loan. And the detail you just write down the date of transaction, January, 10th of January, and the item is the account that involve bank loan. This is the item and the amount. And for bank loan, we must record the date, the same date, but the details are cash account. The amount is 3,000. So you can see the debit side of cash account with the same amount and with the same date, and the details is the account that relate to the transaction. And the credit side, you have the same date and the same amount, and the account involved is cash account. The next transaction, 15th of January, purchase furniture Rm2,500 with cash. So it means that it will increase in asset, furniture, and at the same time it will decrease in cash or decrease in asset. So it will involve two accounts. The first one, furniture account, and the second one, cash account. You have to record the same date with the same amount in the furniture account in the debit side because it will increase in the furniture, and for cash account it will decrease the amount. So we have to record in the credit side. We have to follow the rules of double entry system, and you can see there are two accounts involved, furniture account and cash account. We have to record the same date, one for debit side and another one for credit side. and the same amount, 2,500, and for credit side, 2,500. And this is the details of the account that involved. Under furniture, you just write down cash. And under cash account, you must write down furniture account. The next transaction, 28th of January, the business paid salaries, expenses, RM 1,500 with cheque. So it will increase in expenses. And you should know that there is a decrease in equity. But we just want to record the expenses account. So another one, we have to record decrease in bank. So there are two accounts involved. The first one, salaries, expenses, and the second one, bank account. So when there is an increase in expenses, we must record in the debit side because we are following the rules of debit and credit. And for bank account, we have paid. So that means we will reduce the amount of bank account. So we just write down in the credit side. So you can see for this transaction, we have to record the same date for this debit side and the credit side. And you have to record the same amount, debit side and the credit side. And the account for salaries expenses, we just write down the details bank account. And for bank account, we just write down the details salaries expenses. So this one we call double entry system. One for debit side and another account for credit side. This is the conclusion that we just record from the transaction. There are 5 transactions just now. And when we look at the transaction, there are 2 accounts involved. One account debited and one account credited. So this is the transaction just now. We make a conclusion that double entry system will involve at least 2 accounts. The first one, debit cash with the same amount, 10,000. Credit capital, 10,000. Second one, debit drawing, 200. Credit cash, 200. Third transaction, debit cash, 3,000. And credit bank loan. The fourth one, debit furniture, 2,500 and credit cash, 2,500. And the last one, debit salaries, expenses and credit bank. This one will follow the double entry system where one transaction must involve at least 2 accounts. That's all for today. Thank you. Don't forget to watch my next video. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.